Okay, episode 17. What's up? Free to do, Tory. We got a lot of shit to talk about. This is more of just like specific topics and not really going from segment to segment. So this might feel like it was season one all over again, if I'm being honest. Because I tried to put these topics into certain segments and I was like, I can't do Drew's top five. I can't do a entertainment central on the Diddy trial, and like if I were to put a segment behind them, it would just be Ramble Tone, and I would just be rambling for half the podcast. So this one's gonna probably feel a little chaotic, I would say, but there are topics that I'm like, this shit's crazy. The times are changing. It's an entirely different world out there. I feel like, especially on social media. But I'm gonna start with the first one, and I just said it, free Tory. Bro, Tory Lanez. He's been in jail for a while. And if you don't know what happened, there was I can't remember when it was. It's been a while ago. He, as in Tory Lanez, was out at a party. There was a bunch of famous girls at this party. He came to the party with Megan Thee Stallion and another girl. I think she was an artist too. If not, she's just another like popular girl. And as he was at this party, he was in the pool flirting with Kylie Jenner. And Megan was not having him flirting with Kylie in the pool. So she was like, nah, fuck that shit. We're leaving, blah, 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 blah. So she started a ruckus. They started to leave. And Megan Thee Stallion got into an argument with some girl that was with Tory Lanez also. And they were at, like, I don't know how far apart they were, but they were arguing with each other. And apparently, this is all from the story that Tory Lanez and other people are saying too. Because I'll get into Megan's side after this. Tory's saying that the girl was having enough of Megan's shit, and she was like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm pulling the strap." So she got the gun out and started aiming it at Megan and started shooting. But then Tory slapped the gun down, and then as he was slapping the gun down, she fired again. She kept pulling the trigger, and which means she missed all the shots except the ones that he slapped, and it just so happened to a fragment scraped her foot, and Megan Thee Stallion took it that Tory Lanez shot her in the foot, and that's when went viral, and then Tory got arrested for it. And I guess he wasn't trying to snitch on anybody whenever it first happened. He was just trying to let it go naturally and be like, this stuff will pass over. We can do tests. But then as the trial started, they falsified a bunch. I don't even know if that's the right word. I just be saying shit. They went to go test the gun, and they said that they couldn't find Tory's fingerprints on it at first, and then they did find it after they said they couldn't, and then Tory's team was like, "Here, let us get the gun so we can go test it." And then Tory's team took the gun and found a shit ton of fingerprints on it, including Tory's. I'm pretty actually his was or wasn't on it. I can't remember, but they excused it of he didn't shoot her. He pushed the gun down and tried to stop it. Blah 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 blah. But the only reason I'm talking about all this, and the only reason this is somewhat interesting to me, because Megan Thee Stallion is signed and partnered and backed by whatever you want to call it, Rock Nation, Jay-Z. So at first I was like, okay, this is Megan Thee Stallion. She's a famous woman, you know what I'm saying, in the news, shot by another guy, another famous artist. Dude, this thumbs up shit is crazy. I was like, there's just no way this is gonna play out in Tory's favor. And then it crossed my mind of just like, okay, Jay Z can't let this go by. Nothing happened to Tory, and then Megan Thee Stallion just gets shit on. That is no, that's just not gonna happen for his brand. So I was watching a shout out academics. I was watching him as it was happening live. Megan just started going crazy on social media, started ranting, and Tori started ranting back. And then Tory, once he got arrested, started releasing music talking about the shit, which made people even more like, wait a second, so what even happened? We're kind of clueless on the whole scenario. Because Tory didn't get the story that I just said out until like within the last month, pretty much. So for the, who knows how long he's been in jail, he's just been sitting there for a case that he is saying it's not he's not guilty. Megan Thee Stallion has been thriving doing these documentaries and videos and interviews and just whatever you could think of to get her narrative out there. Also, coincidentally enough, there's been like 3 people that are famous that once they come out and they're like, "Hey, free Tory," and they put it on social media, something bad happens to them like within the week afterwards. All right, so I messed up and I totally forgot this insane detail, but so I'm just throwing it in mid podcast. Tory Lanez got stabbed 14 times after he started talking about the details of this trial. 14 times. The head, body, close to the heart, like almost death close to the heart. Once he started talking about the trial details. So I can't believe I forgot about that. I guess I was focused on saying it last, but then I got distracted by the next thing I'm about to say, so I just cleared my mind from it. But that is crazy. 14 times. The people against Tory wanted him dead on the regular scheduled program. So it's all just a whole bunch of shit that's like, it could be conspiracy potentially, but coincidences, there's too many that line up near like perfectly to be like, oh, like Chris Brown, for example. That is insane. He literally put free Tory on his story. And then he was going overseas, and I guess somebody was looking into it, and they're like, hey, they never finished that case from years ago. Let's bring that back up. And they fucking got him. Like, that shit's crazy, dude. Now, who knows what's gonna... I guarantee Tory's not gonna get out of jail. He's gonna stay in jail for however long the rest of his sentence is. But I'm curious if, like, there's gonna be some sort of, like, interview or something that comes years down the road of Megan Thee Stallion of this times, and it's her talking like, I mean, it sucks it has to happen to him like this, but like that's what happens if you're not going to talk on the stand. Just something of that ilk, because he is in jail because he didn't want to snitch, but then now he's trying to like back it up and be like, yo, I'll explain everything. I can say who it was, but now they're just like, well, why didn't you do this a while ago? It's too late now. So I don't think he's getting out. I still think it's crazy that coincidentally enough, people that come out public and they're like, hey, that's the next one. That's the next one. Free Tory. That's crazy. But they're like, hey, free Tory, and then somebody sees and they're like, oh, okay, so he's on the op list. We thought he was neutral, but no, we gotta go against him now. And then they get arrested, or their child gets taken away from them, or which that is DDG. But I don't know if I'll talk about that on this one, because I'm not. I like some of his songs. I don't watch his streams. I look at DDG, Playboy Max, and all of them. They're on the same category of just like, I don't watch streamers. I watch Kai Cenat every now and then if he's doing something crazy, like the subathon, or if he has like John Cena, Kevin Hart, just something wild like that. And I watch academics, but that's for rap and like hip hop. That's nothing for just like streaming wise. Also, my hat has been crooked. There we go. Okay, it was driving me crazy. Now, the whole DDG and Halle Berry thing is once, because they've been having problems because they have a child, and Halo, there's been a bunch of problems with them being like, oh yeah, well, I want you to take Halo on stream, and then he's like, well, I mean, this is my, you know what I'm saying, this is my job. And then he came out and was like, yo, free Tory, that shit's lame. But he said this like a while ago. And over time, the Halle Berry stuff has only gotten worse. And Halle Berry and Beyonce, they're friends. So like everything, you know what I'm saying? It's all crazy. I'm just waiting for the next celebrity to pop up and be like, yo, free Tory, this shit's crazy. And I'm just watching and be like, oh man, you shouldn't have said it. What's gonna happen to you? Now the next thing, and again, like I said, this is just just topic to topic. This isn't really segmented, but I have to talk about this, dude. I have to. I have to. I have to. And I had a for, I had a slip earlier. Whenever I was saying free Tory, not free Diddy, but this Diddy trial is fucking crazy. This is like, not only are they saying names, but it's nuts that someone can be in the trial, like in the room, courtroom while it's happening, taking notes to go post on Twitter or X, whatever. I don't see how that's allowed. That they're putting all of this man's Diddy's beef, not even beef, dirty laundry really. It's his kinks. It's whatever you don't want the world to know about you. They're just putting it all on the fucking whiteboard and they're like, "Hey, this is what it is. Tell social media, tell everybody, make memes, make whatever you want. This is free content for everybody." Cassie is really, I understand like it is her that's doing it. But the fact that the government lets people, like civilians, in that room with electronics and notes and all that stuff just to post about everything, just because they're press, it's insane. There's stuff that we're learning about Diddy from these trials that I couldn't imagine any like rapper being known for, or like mogul or whatever, because it's so like, oh, gosh, it's crazy. It's embarrassing is what it is. It's real embarrassing. But it's one of those things that like real famous people, or like real like powerful people who are in charge of a huge operation of all sorts of different people that can just do whatever they say. They have these type of things behind the scenes because whenever you have all that power, you can't get off to having all that power. You have to work. You get used to having the power, and then you have to work around stuff and find other kinks and dude. Because I want to say one of them, but it just, I know the people that listen to this podcast, and it would be me telling them if they haven't heard about it already. And I don't want to be the one to break that to them. You know what I'm saying? But oh man. But there is stuff that like, there's actually stuff that gotten broken down, like a Cassie's record label and stuff. Other than just the explicit, Diddy did what? Other than that, there's like Cassie had a 10 album deal, but then only released one because Diddy was like, look, unless you keep doing these freak offs and doing some freaky shit, we're not gonna release your album. And then he just still never did, which is crazy. He had her hit the gym specifically to get more prepared for freak offs, and that's, imagine being in a relationship and, well, not even in a relationship, in a situationship, whatever you would call it, and your other is like, yo, you're not performing as much as I prefer. You know what I'm saying? I need it to be more efficient. You need to start hitting the gym 3 to 4 times a week, at least like an hour and a half, maybe. Just go in the morning, at night. I'm not sure which one, whichever you prefer. But you got to get more like your flexibility, your strength up, your cardio. You just got to get your overall health up to perform better in freak offs. What the fuck is happening, dude? This is Diddy we're talking about. Oh, now this is a gangster move. I'm not gonna lie. I see a lot of people saying free Diddy and like just positive things about Diddy. I'm not gonna be one of them, except this right here. Whenever I found out that he blew up Kid Cudi's car, I wasn't sure like why. I was like, that's a crazy move to do, but I'm assuming he was drugged out. Well, what this background story behind that is Cassie was trying to, you know, fuck on Kid Cudi, trying to get with Kid Cudi, and Diddy was not having it. Then I guess I can't remember where they were, but it was Diddy found out, and it was Diddy, Cassie, and Kid Cudi all like together in one spot, just the three of them. And I can't. Oh man, I wish I remember where it was because it makes the. It's somewhere L.A., but like like a public air place. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like in their house or whatever. I don't think. He was talking to Kid Cudi was talking to Diddy, and Diddy was like, "Yo, you're coming with us." Blah 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 blah. And Kid Cudi was like, "Yo, what about my car?" And Diddy was like, "What car?" And I guess that's how he told Kid Cudi. He was like, "Oh shit, okay." He was moving like a fucking mobile for sure. Like he was untouchable for the longest. It's crazy to figure out that he also had a copy of the hotel beating Cassie footage at his house. Imagine that. You did that shit to where like not only did you pay to get it erased, quote unquote, and try to hide it, you're like, but hey, give me a copy real quick. I want a piece of that for me. It's like that's it's fucked up, dude. Fucked up. It's all just sad though because Cassie's legit on the stand in the courtroom in front of an old ass Diddy. Like the images that they're drawing of him because they can't have pictures, so they just have images. They have him looking so fucked, man. I might put a picture in for here, but it was crazy. It's Cassie on stand talking in front of Diddy and their kids and Cassie's husband. And just a whole bunch of press just fucking writing notes, everything she says down. It's insane to me. Like it's actively happening. What time is it right now? It's 8:52 a.m. on a Monday. I'm sure the court is happening now or it starts at like 9:30 or something. It's insane that we get to cuz I watched the X trial, the XXX Tentacion from like years ago. I can't like 28. I don't know what year he died, but I watched the trials from that to the point to where, well, they had it all filmed, and it was insane how behind the curtain we got for that too. But this is the same vibes I'm getting of like it started out with, oh, this is a crazy thing. Oh, I'm gonna top it with this crazy thing. Oh shit, the other team's coming back and they're dropping their crazy bombs. But then Cassie's team has to do a fucking mic drop and then they just end it because it's like they did it on a Friday or whatever, and then they're gonna be gone for the weekend, but then they'll pick up on Monday. And then that's whenever Diddy's team's gonna come in and try to fucking hammer down, and it's the exact same vibe as of that. Plus, like just saying name drops of just like people is insane. They had some girl that was friends with Cassie, and as they were just like describing what was happening, keep in mind everything that we're reading and stuff is either on court documents, just like that are sent in, that like academics pays some website and he publishes it on his blog. So a lot of us can just go to the blog, and there's a shit ton of court documents that like you would have to pay for, but we get it for free. And this dude that's in the courtroom, it's a inner city press, I think. I can't remember what the name is, but he's legit just in there. He has to have his phone typing, or he's just really quick at writing it down. And then either, I don't know, with technology nowadays, you could just, if you write like very neat, you can write on a piece of paper paragraphs and then take a picture and then hold it on your iPhone, drag it, and copy and paste it into your notes or onto Twitter or whatever it is. But my handwriting can, for sure, it would be like, what the fuck are you trying to write, dude? But still, the fact that he's real time getting like, I mean, it's structured too. Like it says the name of the prosecutor and then Ventura, the name of the prosecutor, Ventura, and it has the quotes that they say. And then it's like the judge said it, something, and it's all so quick and formatted, but it's real time. They're exposing a whole bunch of shit about Diddy and other people too. I just don't know the full gist of like how they're brought into it yet, so I'm not gonna go talking willy nilly on like rant. Except Kid Cudi, the fact that he had his car blown up, like, and just like acknowledged it from his face of like, hey, what car? That was crazy to me. But okay, I think those two are the mains that are like, oh wait, this is what I think it is. Cake note. Academics just went live. It's 8:55 a.m. and this man Academics went live because the Diddy trial. Those two are pretty much the. Actually, I do have one more Oh, I have two more rambles. All right, never mind. So this is just gonna be a long ramble tone. That's what I'll title this as. One long ramble tone. Because this Darth Vader AI thing is crazy. The fact that the coincidence of when this popped up is even crazier to me. Because like 3 days before, me and Garrett, employee at the comedy club, we were talking how the actor for Darth Vader signed his voice rights to Disney and how they're going to be able to throw him into whatever video game or, well, we were talking about whatever movie or whatever like TV role, but whatever video game works as well because that's exactly what they did. I had no idea this was even happening. So whenever I saw a video on Twitter that was going viral of a AI Darth Vader, I thought it was like some prank that happened. Some dude was in a Darth Vader skin. He had like proximity chat from some game mode or whatever, and he was just saying some fuck shit. But then I saw multiple videos of just like people abusing the AI because Fortnite used because it's from Disney. They put the voice actor for Darth Vader in Fortnite to where you could talk to it and it would reply, and it said the craziest shit. The fact that they trusted people who play Fortnite with this, and especially with the loved character like Darth Vader, is exactly why me and Garrett were surprised that he signed his voice rights away because it's an understandable thing if the contract is like fine combed to not have I can't remember the actor's name, not have him look bad in the after he's passed or whatever. Because if you really think about it, you can have your contract set up if you want to give your voice away because it's something nobody should be able to pay for in my opinion is to be able to use your voice from AI because then they're taking you away from your role. It's like how Bruce Willis used it for his benefit because he had the I can't remember what it was, but he couldn't act as he used to be able to, so he did the AI contract thing. That's understandable. You want to be able to do it, but you can't, and plus he's old too, but it's just easier for him. What the Darth Vader actor is doing is more of the listen, I'm gonna pass away soon. We're gonna get a big lump sum of money for my family now, and then afterwards, I mean, because there's no residuals, so it's like hopefully they don't ruin the Darth Vader name, and that's crazy to me. That is something that it shouldn't be able to pay money for. Disney now is on like the Disney Plus has they're like 5 minutes, under 5 minutes maybe, but they're like crossovers of just random characters of that they have under the Disney belt, and it's way more than you would think. And at first I thought it was cool. I was like, oh shit, they got a Simpsons. I can't remember what the other thing was, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. That's cool. But then they just kept making more and more, and they got worse and worse. And like every now and then they'd have a good one, but it's like, oh no, it's gonna be like how YouTubers would get a new game, or they would start a new series, or do something where they have something going steady, everything's looking good, but then they're like, oh, I need to fill more content. I need more potential clicks, and so they start putting the other random videos out that don't make sense. But then they're like, no, we still need to push content, and then they don't get views, and people are like, yo, this isn't working. But and they're like, yo, if we start to push it more and more, eventually they'll start to like it. That's not. That's exactly what they would do with the Darth Vader AI because they don't have to pay an actor to stand in somewhere or to do this, do that. They can literally have the Darth Vader character, the voice that played the dude, in whatever scenario they want. And that is the biggest cash grab that Disney has done. And if they're doing it with Darth Vader, who, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's on my top 5 for villains, bro. Who else are they going to do it for? I would assume that they gave him I didn't look how much money he got, but I would assume they gave him so much money. They had to have. Use his voice. But after he's passed away. In whatever scenario. And fuck up this bad to where they're like, we're gonna let 10 to 15-year-olds just talk to it freely if they have a mic in Fortnite. Because it said some foul shit that I'm not gonna repeat, but I was like, yo, this is crazy, dude. What the hell? So I guess like it sounded like I'm against the AI contracts with actors and their voices and stuff. If you do it correctly, it's one of the smartest things you can do for your like career. But if it's done as in like a, hey, let's just do this, get money for my family, get it over and get it done quick. I don't think that's, if it's rushed, it's not combed through. Like if you can get a contract and you're a famous actor like Robert Downey Jr. or something, where they really are incentivized to use you already because you're fame, but then the incentive to use you even more because they don't have to have you physically here. It would cost like for AI and stuff, like for CGI if it's like a live action. But if it's like any animation that they're already going to spend money animating, but now they don't have to use your like voice to have you in some room talking, that's so much less money, and you're already Robert Downey Jr. So you're pretty much like a guaranteed now. But if you set the contract so it's like you can put me in any movie out of every other 3 or 4 releases, you can only put me in Avengers movies. You can put me in whatever here, and here, but no video games, because I feel like video game rules ruin characters. Especially once they're like, this video game's canon to the universe in the movie. And you're like, how does that, what? That doesn't make sense. But I feel like there's a proper way to do that with your contract and it not fuck your career up. But it's such a fucking coin toss. To me and Garrett were talking about this, and then later after they literally did what we were talking about with Darth Vader AI in Fortnite. Like, that's crazy. But the videos were funny. I was like, wow, I would for sure have abused it somehow if I was running in Fortnite and had my microphone on and I was ran by Darth Vader and I said something and it replied. I'd be like, did you just talk? Did you just talk back? Oh, I would talk to it for a good 3 or 4 minutes probably. It'd be crazy. So that whole scenario, I thought it was fake at first. Not fake. They fucked up. So the next one they do, because it's also crazy to think that Fortnite did this. They added a responsive AI into Fortnite. It's Disney, so they used a Disney-owned character. Who else are they going to throw in as a responsive AI? There's hundreds of people like that, like Darth Vader, that's already in Fortnite. Let alone rumored that they're planning to add in the future. It's like, Fortnite's about to get crazy, I feel. Okay. This is the last ramble. And look, we're already at like 28 minutes. Okay. This one hurts. So I've saved the best for last. Man, R.I.P. the Outdoor Boys channel. And if you know what I'm talking about, you're a real one. Good on you. That means you've been up at like ungodly hours of the night on YouTube watching videos, and this hit your feed, and you were like, "What the fuck?" Boop. And it's suck you in for an hour. But man, Outdoor Boys is a dude named Luke that, if I'm being honest with you, I have no idea. I've watched an embarrassing amount of time of like for just his videos in general. I don't know anything about this dude behind the scenes. He does his job as if he is a CIA agent that lives in Alaska, but his whole thing is home, like outdoors and camping, and it's extreme because he's in Alaska, so it's cold. But then I'll have like the pictures and stuff of just the crazy thumbnails that he has up. But he was probably the most famous one out of all YouTubers, I feel like, that were doing those. Because his whole nicheness is he's a wholesome dude. He lives in Alaska with his family. He takes his family sometimes. He takes his kids sometimes. But then he has like a homestead, like his out in the woods. He'll go out and just do like no tent camping and just stuff like this. But then he has all of his comments turned off for every single video. I don't think he has social media pages. This is just he just edits videos and posts them. Doesn't post about like where he's whenever he posts. His old job, I think he used to work for the government, like legit. So I mean, I really don't know anything about the dude other than just how the man lives his life, and it's been so sad because I've been watching like for longer than I'm proud of now, and whenever I first started watching, he was like older, but he wasn't like old. You know what I'm saying? He was able to pick his kids up and still walk through the snow and do something as he has his kid in his hand, and he's still carrying the camera to record. He's doing all this stuff at once. But then, like, I don't know, a year and a half, probably like, well, I'll say like a year ago, he started to like just go a little slower, or like he would slip every now and then in the snow. He would stop carrying two kids. He would just carry one, and then now, like a few like months ago, I would say like 2 or 3 months ago, he just broke down. He was like, "Man, I just can't do it anymore. I'm gonna start posting every other week." And so he started posting every other week. And I was like, "Oh, this man's breaking." And you could like physically see him like just get more and more drained. I was like, "Damn, this is crazy. This is like real time like aging." And then he recently came out. I think it was the last video he made. And he was like, I'm quitting. He was like, yeah, I'm scared the fame that is I'm receiving for me and my family. And I respect that. I respect that way more than being like I'm tired of making videos, because I'm tired of making videos. I don't want to say it's played out, because like you're the one that decided to start making videos, so just stop making them. You know what I'm saying? Don't make a video about stopping making videos. But what his concern was is every time he's out with his family, and he said like just no matter where he's at, people come up and they're like, "Yo, can I get a picture?" And he said it was cool, which is that has to be cool, but I bet that has to be so annoying. Because I talk to comedians at the comedy club about that sometimes, where like they're actually that ilk. Like before Theo Vaughn was on my previously shit list, now neutral list, I would like the first time he was there, he didn't get it that type of action. The second time he did, and that's never. I was like, "Yo, what's it like now?" And he was like, "Man, it's crazy, brother. This is everywhere. I'll be in the airport bathroom and blah 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 blah." But then Luke from Outdoor Boys is completely different, because he'll go overseas to like Tokyo, and just to make a video of like fishing some random fish that's like rare, or like doing something in the water. And then he'll be walking on the beach with the vlog camera just because he's a big, tall, white guy. I mean, he stands out, and he's got a big camera. He'll just have like a crowd, and he has to be like, yeah, I mean, like, hey, please, no. He's doing that from YouTube videos from camping, dude. That's nuts to me. And it's so much so that he's like, I have to stop making videos because my family's getting too popular. Now, there's two sides of the coin here, because I gave you his explanation. There's also the viewer's explanation. And this is all the shit that's going viral on social media right now, because I mean he's insanely famous. So of course him quitting is gonna go viral. And man, people read right through it, and they are chewing him up. Him up. because not only has he visibly been like wearing down during videos, visibly his marriage has been looking like it's getting a little iffy. Yeah, it's like you could just tell by the wife's demeanor as well in the show. Not it feels like a show, but in the videos you could just tell, and how often she goes on trips versus when they would go on trips. And then like he'd post a video because like it would go viral on X of being like, look at this video of Luke's wife giving him a mean mug in the background of his video and then shaking her head. But then the next post that he makes is one of him and his wife out. So like it's like he's out reading this stuff. So the video he released was him and his wife, but then people read through that video and they're like, yo, this video is like a year and a half old. He's been sitting on this. And so so they're saying that his wife probably gave him an option of being like, hey, look, you either quit YouTube or you quit this marriage. And I was like, that's insane. Let's hope not. But then the brighter side of that coin is his kids have also started YouTube channels. And so people are like, what if he's just doing this to promote his kids? Because he also in the video is like, but Tom's going to keep making videos. And it's like, oh, man. So you're going to basically pass the torch to them because, hey, I respect it. I'm not going to watch Tom's videos probably, but I respect it. Put your kid on, especially if you're too tired to go do it, because his kid, Tom, is like, he's a little kid, and he legit made a video of going out in the snow, camping by himself. He couldn't get his fire started, so he had to call his dad up, and his dad came and helped. But he got the fire, everything was chilling, and then he finished the video. I was like, all right, so I mean, he's doing something, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I mean, Luke from Outdoor Boys is his father. And we've all, if you watch those videos, we've seen the conditions that those little kids have been under, of just like in the snow, just fucking. I mean, they can do it on their own, I feel like, at this point. So I was very sad to see that, though. I was like, damn, that's a guilty pleasure watch of mine. Because he releases them every morning at like 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Well, he used to. Now it's like every other Saturday. And he said he's got videos up until the end of 2025. But this is the last video that he's making, he said. So he's got like whatever he has in the tuck. Because he definitely said, like, in videos that I would watch, he would talk about having like 2 or 3 videos going in the background that he's editing, but then he has to wait to go somewhere else to get this clip to finish this one video. And it's like, how many of those do you have? So in my mind, this is where the play of like promoting his kids comes in. Because people are thinking, oh, okay, he's done making videos. I'm going to go subscribe to Tommy's YouTube and then just start watching him because he'll be with his dad. But then as they're subscribed to him and starting to watch him, Outdoor Boys will still post videos up until end of 2025 at least. But I mean, fuck, it's May. You know what I'm saying? It's not like September or something. We got a while. So in the future, he will stop posting videos. He is currently done making videos, which is still sad. But I want to know if the conspiracies are right about that, or if he's like, no, I'm just old. I'm in a happy marriage, and I'm just chilling, teaching my kids. If that's the case, that's the most wholesome outcome, and that would be awesome. It's just the way things work out usually aren't the most wholesome. Plus, the fact that he has all of his comments turned off for every single video, I like it. But it makes me confused. I'm like, what are you hiding from? What's happening here? So, I don't know if like he had the video, had comments on in the past before I started watching, and like some shit went down, and like it was a problem, so he had to turn them off or something. But still, that was a guilty pleasure watch of mine. Outdoor Boys. And if you have no idea what I've been talking about, do yourself a favor If you're ever up, I mean, you can watch it right now, whenever you're watching that after this podcast. But my preference is it's like 12 to 1 a.m. You're just sitting there and you're like, oh, what should I watch? Outdoor Boys. Whatever the most popular, not the most popular. Like, go to the popular videos and go down like 4 or 5 because the shock factor, he has a bunch of clicks alone from that. And the shock factor videos aren't the best videos, I would say. But he has insanely popular videos that, yeah, they're long. That's why I said like 12 to 1 a.m. because you're for sure falling asleep to that. 100%. If you watch the entire thing, it just shows it's banging content. It's been 40 minutes. I've rambled about 4 topics. If I end there and I do a shout out to a real one, that just means I spent an entire podcast rambling. Oh, but that would also just double down what I was saying before I started rambling. I was like, this is gonna be a throwback to episode season 1. Now it's the only other segment of the podcast, but it's I'm gonna give it a shout out to a real one. This one's with Joseph, man. And it's funny because I used to call him John. So like every time I talk about him or talk to him, it crosses my mind to immediately say John, but then I'm like, that's not what everyone calls him. Because I used to live by him years ago, like whenever we were little kids, and he would just be outside. He was one of the friends that we would just go out and do random shit, or like if we got home from school, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go over there and say what's up to see if he can come out and play. He wouldn't be home, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I got this. I'm gonna go write a note, put it on the door, and I'd put it on the door. He'd get the note, and I'd be at Dot's house, and he'd come over and be like, hey, yo, I'm here. I'd be like, let's get it. And we'd go outside, and vice versa. He'd write notes and leave it on her door. I was like, oh, that's an OG friendship. That's before phones. You know what I'm saying? So he was also like, we had a friend, Michael. I don't know how that man's. Hopefully, he's doing okay. I lost track of him, but we would be outside and we would just dead ass just go into a full on like play fight, and it wouldn't be play, but it's play fighting technically. We weren't playing though. We were because we watched WWE and we were trying to do that shit in real life, and we were just outside, fucking in between the buildings, and we were just going at it, trying to toss bodies, and it was insane. We would run all around that neighborhood. Oh man, but then hey, he's also in the father club. He was like the first one with the kid. I was like, man, he's hitting the next stage of his life, and I was like, all right, shout out to him. And then he started doing like, uh, what's the martial arts? I don't want to say which one it is and be wrong, because then I feel like that's disrespectful probably. But he's doing a martial art now, and he's out here. He lost a shit ton of weight, and he's looking like fucking fit. And I was like, all right, boy, I see you. But then he posted something about like winning some championship or like getting up on a belt, and he's just doing real good in martial arts. And I was like, that's something that he needed for sure. I was like, that's right up his lane, because if he was a little fucked up and you were talking to him and you stepped on his toes a little bit, and he'd be like, what? He'd check anybody really. So it's good that he has the backup to be able to check people now, I would say. But I'm happy for him. Love the dude. He's like one of the first in 4G LTE that I was like actually really close with. So I'm glad that it's, followed through. He's a real ass dude. Shout out to a real one. And that's gonna be it for episode 17. I will see you in 18.